Well, to the White House, where President Biden is urging leaders around the world to lock arms and demonstrate democracy. Today, the president hosted the first ever Democracy Summit, gathering leaders from more than 100 democratic countries, urging them to stop the backward slide of citizens' rights.
In my view, this is the defining challenge of our time. Democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people, can at times be fragile, but it also is inherently resilient.
During the two-day summit, President Biden is calling on his fellow leaders to collaborate on defending against authoritarianism, combating corruption, and promoting respect for human rights. Both Taiwan and Ukraine are among the attendees, but China and Russia noticeably not invited. Ahead of the summit, ambassadors from both countries wrote a joint editorial calling the gathering a product of a, quote, Cold War mentality that will create new dividing lines. President Biden said today that no democracy is perfect, but all can lock arms and commit to be better.
Well, here with us now is Robert Wilkie, former Secretary of Veterans Affairs and Undersecretary of Defense. He is also current visiting fellow with the Center for National Defense at the Heritage Foundation. Secretary Wilkie, thank you for making time to be with us tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. More than 100 democratic countries, as Jenna was just saying, are represented in today's Democracy Summit at the White House, notably absent China and Russia. What statement does their exclusion make?
Well, I hate to be negative when it comes to an event that supposedly promotes democracy, but I think this is a performance art masquerading as diplomacy. Noticeably absent from this forum are dissidents from Hong Kong, dissidents from Russia, dissidents from China, Cuba, Venezuela. If you want to, and Iran, you want to make an impact on the world and say that, yes, we are here to promote the natural rights of all human beings, you have to take a step forward and actually challenge the regimes that are a threat to the world. This administration has shown no inclination to do that. And your lead-in about anti-Semitism is a case in point. The boycott, divestment, and sanction movement in this country, which has not been condemned, but also the coddling of the Ayatollahs in Iran at the expense of Israel, and also the Arab nations that have come together with Israel, not only to share economic resources, but to fight against a common enemy, a threat to the very existence of the peoples of that region. So this is a much more complicated issue, and it requires more than just a performance. It requires some actual concrete actions.
Secretary, what's the long game play here against authoritarian governments with, human rights abuses and corruption? What's the long play here?
Well, the long play should be that the United States is a bulwark against the march of the dictators. If you look at this new axis of evil, China, Russia, and Iran, these are nations that have brought back the concentration camps. In China, there are over 1 million people in concentration camps. Muslims and Christians, Catholics, Anglicans are being persecuted and killed every day in China, yet you don't hear a response to that. What the United States should do is two things. One, we have to be the moral exemplar. But two, we have to provide the nations of the world the tools with which to fight back against this tide that we are seeing in Ukraine, in Eastern Europe, in China, against Taiwan, but also the spread of dictatorships now in our own hemisphere. Nicaragua, there were no dissidents from Nicaragua at this Democracy Summit. So we have to promote those who have put their lives on the line to speak for their people.
Secretary Wilkie, the president met virtually this week with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Is that call going to be enough, in your thoughts, to stave off a possible Russian military invasion of Ukraine?
Well, let's look what Putin's doing. He's challenging this president on several fronts. He's weaponized migrants coming out of the Middle East and overwhelming the defenses of Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. He's moved into the Middle East. He just signed a defense cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia. He just met with Prime Minister Bennett. Those are people who have felt that Biden has abandoned in the Middle East, and now he's playing games with Ukraine. As long as we keep begging Russia for fuel, for oil, to mitigate against the bad policies of this administration, nothing concrete will happen. We have to stand firm, and I'm sad to say I don't see this administration doing it.
All right, Secretary Wilkie, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for what you